So it's about 19 degrees outside, and we're going to do rear brakes on the rotors and the pads. It's a very simple, straightforward job. There are two things to pay attention to on the pads. It came with two different sizes hardware. As you can see, you've got a larger and a smaller. There's a difference. If you put the smaller one on, it won't go over the rotor. So make sure you put the bigger one on. I think these may be for like, maybe the hybrid, or maybe for a few years they made a G25 or like a Q40, which had a 2.0 or a 2.5 in them. So they may have smaller brackets, rotors, whatever. Just pay attention to that, and then also pay attention to your screamer bar. I've already done the other side, but it is on a different location. That means that not only is this the inner, but it will be passenger, and the other one will have it over here for the driver's side. So just pay attention to that. Just two little things, that's it. You'll need a 14mm socket to take the caliper loose, 19mm socket to take the bracket loose. If you're just doing pads, you can just take the 14s loose, and then re-grease everything, change your hardware. So a 14, a 19, a C-clamp, and a jack stands, and then some grease. That's it. There's no set screw on the rotor, so it should just pop right off. So we'll get started. Got the two 14s out. Pay attention, there is a top and a bottom. The bottom one has that little rubber boot. I didn't know this, but apparently that is to absorb vibration and bumps and stuff in the caliper. That's what the official reason is. I don't know if it's true or not, but so we'll pop these pads out. I think these pads are done. Let me know if you think I could have got a few more miles out of those. Pop those out. Oh, that one right there. I think that one's good. I think I could have got a few more 100 miles out of these. Maybe. Sadly, it's not the worst pad I've seen. So we'll knock these two 19s loose. If you can't get them loose, what you can do is take your ratchet and take a mallet, like this guy. Not a hammer, a mallet. Tap them, and that'll help knock them down. Then you can take them out with the ratchet. While we're doing this, Steve's putting air in my tires because it's cold. So if you're having trouble getting the rotor off, what you can do is take your mallet and right here, kind of just give it a, kind of break it loose, go all the way around, kind of get the face of it too. What you're doing is busting up that corrosion, and then you can just give it a new rotor is on. I'll hit it with some brake clean when I get done. You always want to clean these with brake clean before you start, because they do have a like anti-rust surface treatment, like a little bit of oil that keeps them from rusting. So now what we're going to do, take a flat head. You can do this with your hands, flat head, whatever, and then pop your old hardware off.
There's one tar that might vary on you if you do that, and you're going to put it on.
Okay, I'll check it before I put it on. So then I recommend, you can do whatever you want to do. I recommend putting a little bit of grease anywhere metal touches metal. So I will take right here. Don't go crazy. Right across here. There. 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 In here. In here. Okay. Now, like I said, there is two sizes of hardware. You want the bigger one. If you put the smaller one on, it will be too narrow in here, and it won't go over the rotor. So just pop it on. Pop it on. Okay. Now, another thing you want to do is I always check these, make sure there's no tears, no splits, no rips, because if you do that, you will get dirt, salt, all that corrosion in there, and rust. And I've actually had to replace one of these brackets on my 350Z and on a Mustang because it got rust and corrosion in here and locked this caliper up. On the Mustang, I thought it was the caliper was locked up, but come to find out it was just the bracket. So now you can take a little bit of grease and put it out here, or you can put it on the ear of the pad. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the ear of the pad because these are a little small, so it's hard to get my finger in there. So you get this bolted up, Get the pads in, re-grease those sliders, and we'll be done. Okay, so my bracket's on. One thing that was weird here was the top bolt. The threads were boogered up a little bit on the end, so I had to kind of get them in and like tighten them down really hard, get them going. Like it acted like just the very first couple of threads were boogered up. But like I said, we will take a little bit of grease, put them right here on the pad, anywhere metal touches metal. Keeps noise down. And if you have trouble getting it to go in, what you can do is take your ratchet like this, a little tap in, and you'll hear it snap in. Now, remember, you have an inner and an outer. The inner has your screamer bar. So we'll take a little bit of grease. Oop. Try not to go crazy, because then you will potentially get too much on, and then you will get it on your rotor. So the next step here, we got that bolted down, got the pads in and greased, so now we have to compress the caliper so it will fit over our new pads. So what I've done is I've taken the pad, an old pad, take your thinnest one too, and a C-clamp. Then you'll just...
You want me to do anything?
Yes, Steve, while you're sitting there.
Yeah.
Now, can you come in a little bit? Here, hold it right here.
Okay.
Now you just turn it, as you will see, the piston will start going in. If you have trouble with the piston going in, you can put a little bit of WD-40 on it too.
Oh, you want higher? Okay.
Now, once it goes in, boop, like that, you take it back loose, take your pad, throw it over there in the recycling. Make sure you get your boot out of the way. Get the boot up off the piston. You don't want the boot to be between, like in front of the piston and the pad. Okay, so now we'll take caliper.
Turned real dark there all of a sudden.
Okay. So now we've got the caliper on. So now we will grease our sliders. What I do is I put it on there. I always put a little bit on the end too. And then once I get it on there, I'll just take my finger and slide it out like that. Just get it good and spread out. Now, like I said, there is a difference, top and bottom. This one has the little rubber boot on the end. That one doesn't. So we'll go on the bottom. A little bit of advice here is get both of them started before you tighten one of them down. Because if you get this like the...
Hold it on an angle, I can see that.
If you get the top one tight and then go to start the bottom one, it may want to pivot. I've had that happen before. So get both of those tight. Okay, and we're done. So now what we'll do is we'll jam our wheels back on. I'll go over everything, make sure everything is snug. Jam our wheels back on. We'll double check our air pressure in our tires, and we'll be done.